Welcome to Florence, Oregon. I'm Laurie and I'm on my way home to Vancouver in my camper van. In my last video about coping when friends and family make you feel guilty, I said something that I've been wanting to pick up on. That I now know was a healthy reason to leave. It was leaving out of love, believe it or not. We had been unhappy for several years and we could have lived unhappily for the next 30, 40 years. It would have been awful. So I know that leaving was the most loving thing I could have done, because leaving meant that we both have a chance to find ways to be happy instead of continuing to stay and spin our wheels in the same rut. Since it's a super rainy day, I want to pair this Rupert Spira clip about knowing how to leave a relationship with love and peace with some beautiful beach footage that I filmed when I was in Carmel, California. I hope this video helps you cope with a breakup, separation, or divorce. You may even find it helpful if family members, such as your parents or children, are breaking up or have already ended their relationship.
You mentioned yesterday, I loved your comment about making decisions with your divine self, your divine love self, and asking about, should I stay in this relationship, get out of this relationship? And so there's an idea in the course that we have that internal guide, and we have that guide to reach for, and it's really it's really us.
Yes. I would agree with that. I wouldn't call it an internal guide, but I refer to it as our deepest love and understanding.
Yeah.
But it's the same meaning. I just don't personify our deepest love and understanding. So when we're faced with a decision, for instance, the decision, should I stay with my partner or leave? I would recommend referring that decision to one's deepest love and understanding. For instance, if we've been in a long-term relationship and we're considering leaving, all kinds of factors come into play, such as fear of being alone, or fear of what other people will think of us. These kind of decisions, I would not, these kind of factors, I would not call factors that come from our deepest love and understanding. They come from fear. And any decision that we make from fear will carry that fear into the consequences of our decision. And somehow the fear from which we made the decision will be extended into our subsequent circumstances and situations, and therefore the situation that we found ourselves in, even if we leave that situation, that relationship in this case, we will tend to find ourselves in a similar situation down the road, because we have made a decision from fear, that is, from the separate self, and the separate self will be perpetuated in the next situation, in this case the next relationship, and the next relationship will again turn out to be a struggle between two separate selves, and again the conflicts will arise. So we will go on and on repeating these patterns until we make a decision that comes from love and understanding, irrespective of the consequences. That we don't think, oh, if I make this decision, what will become of me in the future? No, it's just, does this decision come from my deepest love and understanding? And if it does, do I have the courage to go ahead and implicate that decision, irrespective of the consequences?
Yes.
And because a decision that comes from our deepest love and understanding doesn't contain the separate self in it, whatever circumstances follow from that decision will be free, at least to an extent, of the separate self. And therefore, if, for instance, it was a relationship, the next relationship we enter into will be, at least to a degree, free of the fears and desires and neuroses of the separate self, and therefore the next relationship, will have the best possible chance of being a truly intimate relationship, rather than a battleground between two egos.
Yes.
So that is how a decision that comes from love and understanding will express itself in our subsequent activities and relationships. And our subsequent activities and relationships will be gradually purified of the fears, the neuroses, the desires, the demands, and therefore the conflicts of the separate self.
And that actually it matched up exactly with the content in the course, trials and lessons. If you're listening to fear instead of love and making that decision, you get the trials and you get the lessons repeated.
Yes, and life has an uncanny way of manifesting in the form of our circumstances or relationships, or whatever we haven't clearly looked at inside ourselves. Yes.
So just to wrap that piece up, how would you suggest to people that the answer comes? How does the answer show up from your deepest love and understanding? Intuitively, you read a newspaper, somebody says, this relationship isn't so good for you, or...
It could come in a number of ways. But usually a decision that comes from our deepest love and understanding comes with a certain clarity with it. And very often, if we access that place in ourselves, not only does it come with clarity, it comes with a certain confidence or fearlessness.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this come what may. This is the right thing to do. And I don't mind what the consequences are, because I know deep in my heart it's right to do this.
Yeah.
It may seem on the outside to cause suffering to others, or it may seem to break something that has been well established, but nevertheless, I know that this decision is an expression of love and understanding, and therefore, in time, it will be best not only for the person who makes the decision, but for all parties concerned.
Yeah.
Even if, in the short term, it may cause some upheaval.
Right. Great. Thank you.
And that very often requires some courage, because we're afraid to break something that is well established. For instance, in terms of a relationship, not only are you in a relationship with another person, but your families, for instance, are intertwined. So you feel that if you're going to separate in the relationship, you're somehow letting your families down. Or the other way around, sometimes your families expect you, this is not so much in our culture, but in a tradition culture, in India, for instance, if you're expected to get together with a certain person or marry a certain person, you feel the weight of your family expectation dictating your decisions. And so if you really have access to your deepest love and understanding, it brings with it this clarity and this fearlessness and this confidence that gives you the ability to do the right thing, come what may.
That was Rupert Spira talking to Bill and Amy Torres. I hope this helps you make decisions with peace, love, and understanding, no matter what type of decision that you're facing or that somebody has made that affects you. If you're interested in more Rupert Spira stuff, just Google his name on YouTube, Rupert Spira, and you'll find a ton of good information. So, as always, take good care of yourself, because you are worth taking good care of.